Hi, I'm Jackson Bliss, and this is Dream Pop Origami. If you had told me in 2019 that I'd be back in LA in 2022, if you told me that I would have gone through and tried to navigate a pandemic, a book tour for 3 books, all of which are incredibly important to me and none of which made any money, if you had told me in 2019 that LB, my wife, and I would be living back in Hollywood and I would be looking at the November California sky from my window. You had told me that I'm about to leave to go to the gym, not because I'm like some gym rat or some gym bro, simply because I'm trying to take care of my body and I'm trying to take care of my wellness. If you had told me that I'd be trying to create a new YouTube channel based on my memoir, Dream Pop Origami, I would have laughed at you. I would have thought you had lost your mind. And there's one reason for this. At least in America, when you get your MFA, but especially when you get your PhD in creative writing, you are groomed into believing the only place you belong is academia. And there's a good reason for this. Universities have been the biggest patrons of the arts for as long as we can remember. Almost every writer you know, they're working on a college campus, often for 1/10, 1/1000th of their worth, but they're doing it because they have health insurance, because they have colleagues they love and admire, because they have students that they love and admire, and because they're still being supported to write, even if it's just for like 1 month in January and 2 months in the summer. That's still better than nothing. And it's true, if you compare nothing to academia, it's a way better deal. But the thing is, the instant we leave academia, it's hard not to feel like you have crashed your own glass house. And I say that because I'm going to do something that's a little bit insane by conventional academic standards. I'm creating this YouTube channel because I think it's a more effective way to connect to people. I think it's a better way to talk about art and literature and culture and video games and language and relationships. I think it's a better way to reach out to viewers and readers. I think it's a more personable and more intimate and more vulnerable way to connect to people. Sure, it's flawed, and sure, my tech skills are super unimpressive right now, and my videos are not going to be that impressive for a while. But my hope is that through time, we will grow together and we will be part of this community where we can talk about things we think we know, things we already know, and learn about things we've never heard of. So I'll be creating videos that are as much for people just entering into this discourse as I'll be making videos for people who've been part of this from the very beginning. So you'll notice a variety of different content that I'll be creating every week. Sometimes I'm going to make a video for students who are just like, yo, how do I write an essay? Other times I'm going to have videos about things that most of my friends who are published writers think about. And I'm going to create videos that span the level of expertise. Sometimes I'm going to create content that comes from an insider perspective. Other times, I'm going to create content for people just beginning their journey as writers, as public intellectuals, as travelers, creating a better life that's sustainable, that respects, loves, protects all people in this world. Maybe I'm being idealistic. I tend to be a little irrationally optimistic, if you will, when sometimes the data doesn't always back up my belief system in the world. But if you think about it, if you had to pick between being a pessimistic person and being an optimistic person, your choice tells you a lot about you. If you're pessimistic, you probably want to get ahead of the bad shit that's happening to you, so you would rather expect the worst and then not be surprised when life is as awful as you assume it's going to be. Totally get that strategy. If you're an optimist, you're trying to not lose your hope in the world. you're trying to not lose your hope and your faith in people. Either way, I don't judge you. Either way, I understand you. But in this channel, what I'm going to try to do is just err on the side of optimism, if only because it's so easy to lose faith in this world and in humanity. And I'd like to do a tiny little part, just a tiny little part, to remind you of why you're here and to remind all of us of why this life is worth living and why we're better doing it together. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to talking to you a lot in the future. Peace.